I just consider myself lucky that, you know, I found the right person. I don't know if he feels the same way, but, you know, he doesn't ever say that he's going to do anything about it, so I'm just biding my time.
So you're looking forward to this marriage to last?
Oh, yes, I hope so.
Okay, your children. Tell me about your children. You had a bunch of them.
Yeah, and I'm, you know.
Tell me about who they are. And
I like all of my children. As you know, they're all different too. They all have certain things about them that are so neat, and I like all of them. Chris was our first one.
Could you say her full name?
Christine Marie
Fitzpatrick. Now
Milner. Yeah, and Tim was the second. Jeff. Timothy Arlen. Jeffrey Arlen. Renee Marie, now Melchior, and Dennis and Denise. Now they are the only two that are not married yet.
And the only twins.
Yeah, and they're twins, yes. And they're 27 now. So all the other ages are between.
Can you remember when your first child was born?
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was the most wonderful thing in the whole world that ever happened to me.
Were you scared when you took the baby home the first day?
Yeah, I was, but you were so tiny. Yep.
What are special memories of raising your children?
And just having them all together. You know, I always liked them all in a group so I could see what they were all doing. Now they tell me terrible things about what they have done. That I didn't know about, and I think to myself, how do they live without me telling them not to do that?
Well, then what is it like to be a grandparent?
Oh, it's wonderful. That is really great. And I love, especially to have special days with each one separately, because when they're all together, I just don't have a chance to give them each special attention.
You're bonding pretty well with all your little...
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay, Joan, I would like to move on to some of you. Anything else you want to say about your family?
No, except that, you know, having our family is probably the best thing that I can think of, because when we all get together, that we're a party by ourselves. We don't need anyone else, really, and we don't have to, you know, put on any airs. We can all be, and everybody has this humor about them that somebody's always getting kidded or something, you know.
It's fun.
Yeah, and we always have 50 cars in front of by our garage, you know, and the neighbors all make, you know, wonder if more people than two live in our house, because we always have some.
Take a minute to tell me about that house, because you live on a hillock or a hilltop, and you have a barbecue in the backyard. Tell me a little bit about what that house has meant for the last. Well, you've been there 10
Well, gosh, it was a great place to raise our children, but now it's way too huge for two people. Just way too big, and we will one day, you know, get a smaller house. Although it's nice when they all come, because when it is a time when somebody is there, then everybody's there, and even though they live in town, they stay at our house.
I remember the barbecues that when I visited there periodically in the backyard. They were just such
Yep, it's like having our own park.
Yeah.
You know. Yep, and they all have their thing to do that they like to do.
And you're really in the midst of the cornfields and so forth.
Oh yeah, we're surrounded by the cornfields.
Hi everybody, my name's Jeff and I'm Joan's middle son. And I wanted to thank everyone for coming to help memorialize my mom and think and remember about her life and her raising us 6 kids and mom and dad. It brings back a lot of memories, and one of the, just a quick story about Ma. This was back when I was about 9 or 10. We lived over on 32nd Street, and Mom had a great idea. We were going to have a carnival in our backyard and, you know, run by the kids. And so it was a great idea, and we were pretty excited about it. It was quite an event, and anyway, the kids would run, beanbag toss and coin throw and throw the football through a hoop type deal, and kind of taught us all how to start gambling, really. Not really. Anyway, and then another good thing about the carnival was also Mom's idea was to have a parade through the other neighborhoods to get all the other kids to come. And it was a very, very fun deal. And we, something I'll never forget. But what happened was in the morning of the carnival, Mom woke me up pretty early, very early. And she said, get up, we're going to church. And I said, wait a minute, it's Saturday, it's not Sunday. So she said, I know, but when you do this, the carnival will go better and you'll feel better about yourself. And you know what? Sure enough, I did. And went on to hopefully, been going to church here more often lately, but hopefully it's gonna have a good effect on my life. And there was many, many stories that took effect on my life, and I want to thank you, Mom, for
my earliest memories of you are the Christmases that you created for us. And we'd start off the season going downtown to talk to Santa, and the Killians talking Christmas tree. And that was, at the time it was even creepy. And it's really creepy now thinking about that tree was creepy. But it was part of getting into the spirit of Christmas. But it was at home that you made Christmas so magical for us. And you always decorated everything to a T, and not a single strand of tinsel was out of order. I can remember we would rub our socks on the floor and shock ourselves on the tinsel, and everything was so meticulous and perfect. We would even get yelled at for doing that sometimes because we might get it out of order. And we really got into trouble when we would maybe have a few drinks when we were together for games or something, and we started putting beer cans on the tree or bras or whatever. But yeah, but you could take a joke, so it was all good. But the gifts were, you went crazy with the gifts, and they were piled to my height or higher. It always just seemed like some years it was like that. And so for us, the obligatory Christmas story is when we were on 32nd Street, and you had a secret code for us, and so you would write the secret code for each of us on the perfectly wrapped gift and so this code designated who the gift belonged to, and so that we wouldn't shake the box. And then the year that Jeff and Dennis got a doll and Renee and I got a chess set. But for me, that was not the most memorable Christmas. My most memorable Christmas was the year we lost your dad. And in spite of that, we lost him on Christmas Eve morning, and we always celebrated Christmas Eve night because you liked the lights when it was dark, and so we still carried on, and you still had the gifts. You still had in spite of all the months previous of caregiving for him, you still had time to shop and wrap gifts and probably even secret coded every gift, and it just, you never skipped a beat with that year, and really never any year you never skipped a beat. And so that wow, Christmases were awesome. They just were just great memories. And the years went on, and we grew up, and our own families grew. So then you and Dad kind of stopped giving gifts for everybody, and then we started to exchange names instead. And you still decorated, and began a new tradition. Chocolate covered cherries. For several years you'd pass out the Queen Anne's, and with each year the tradition, the addiction, and the entitlement became more embedded in us with each passing year. And one year when we finished all the chaos, and you kind of acted like you were done for the night, and then we kind of all realized, hey, where's our chocolate entitlement? And you were all coy about it, but we bullied you, and well, no, it was a loving intervention, and you finally gave up and went and found our chocolate. So and then when that all ended, then between opening gifts and midnight mass, then we would have we would play a game or whatever, but always during the game we'd always keep one ear on you, because we knew that you would entertain us with a little sleep talking. And then and you were a sleep talker like nobody I've ever met, and the crazy things you said. But anyway, so yeah, I can hear Mark saying, "Get this dog off my arm." That was a good one.
Hi. I had an experience yesterday which made me think about you, Mom. I was at my orthopedic surgeon's yesterday, and I had an epidural steroid injection. And it reminded me about how much pain you had with your back over all those years, and that now finally that pain has gone for you. And so I imagine that you're in a heavenly Zumba class, just really rocking it out. And if not there, then you're probably attending one of the many crafting classes. And I hope they have a wide variety, because your talents are many. There was sewing, and I remember you used to sew for me a lot when I was really little. And one time you were trimming the armhole in a dress before putting the sleeves in, and I still have a little scar under my arm from where the pinking shears took away my skin as well as the excess fabric. And then there was lots of cake decorating. You went through a period where you were doing lots of wedding cakes, and so they were like multi-tiered cakes and landscapes that you'd have out on the dining room table. And one night there was a loud noise, and when you investigated the noise, found that the cake had fallen over. And so your crafts always gave us a lot of anecdotes as well. you were way ahead of your time when it came to the DIY furniture craze. You were cutting legs off library tables and antiquing old furniture and creating your own planter boxes on wheels. So you were way ahead of things before HGTV ever got started. You were an impeccable gardener. You used to go out with that little scarf wrapped around your hair and work on all the plants in the yards. And when you lived up on Carousel Drive, the neighbors were always so intrigued with all your pagoda gardens and loved to come and take little tours. You had embroidery and you had cross stitch, toll painting, calligraphy. Then there was all the silk flower arranging, ceramics that led then into porcelain. And you did have some really beautiful porcelain dolls. There were some that were real beauties. But come on, your doll collections have to probably have been the creepiest of all your talents, because those things were just kind of scary. Sometimes you'd walk into that bedroom in Arizona and there'd be that whole line of odd dolls looking down on you while you were trying to sleep. And so you had an astonishing menu of crafts. I remember your baby's breath heart that hung outside your door at Villages, and whenever I would see that as we'd approach the door, it would always make me smile and remember the weekend that you drove to Ankeny and we went up to Ames and had a weekend crafting retreat, and that's when you made that plaque, and it just reminded me of that nice weekend that we spent together. More recently were the crafts that we all benefited from, and that was when you started making your 3D cards. We'd get all these beautiful cards for birthdays and anniversaries and special occasions. And the cards, then you would use your computer skills along with your crafting skills and your $1,000 library of crafting tools and rainbow of paper in all sizes and weights and colors and designs. Well organized too. So you were a beautiful, talented woman, and I'll think lovingly of you, especially when I see a woman in the summer walking down the street in a sweatshirt, or I see a group of kids who are all dressed in matching turtlenecks. And then every morning when I spread peanut butter on my toast, you'll know that I am hungry, because my mother taught me that if you won't eat peanut butter, then you must not really be hungry. So I love you, Mom. You've left lots of memories for us to think back fondly on you.
One of the things that I was asked to talk about was one thing that I remember about you that helped me with my future. So when I was in high school, I was dating someone, and of course I was young and stupid and didn't know a whole lot about relationships, but it was kind of an iffy relationship anyway. It was not anything really deep and long lasting. I knew it wasn't really going to be the one, but I was all dressed and ready to go, and sitting at the kitchen table with you having a chat, and Mom was reading the paper and she said, "Oh, look, there's a craft show at I can't remember where it was. It wasn't the one she was in, but that you were in, but it was a craft show." And she said, why don't we go and go to the craft show? And I said, well, I said, I'm really supposed to be waiting for him. He wanted to take me to the craft show. And he sat down and explained to me that that was not the way it was supposed to work. You're not supposed to just sit and wait on him when he's late. If he's not there, then it's time to go. So he was a couple hours late, and he hadn't called and he hadn't said anything. So I said, well, let's go. We'll go to the craft show together. So we went off and we went to the craft show, and we went to the craft show, and we went and wandered around, and sure enough, I looked up, and there he was coming at us down the aisle, and he didn't look none too happy, and he looked pretty hot, actually. And so he walked up to me and said, you know, what are you doing? Where are you supposed to be? You're supposed to be at your house waiting for me to come pick you up. And it kind of startled me that he was so angry about it. And I kind of took a step back, and Mom, you stepped right in there and took me by the elbow and backed me up a little bit, stood between us, and you went on to explain to him in no uncertain terms that your daughter was not going to be sitting around waiting on him when he was late, and that the tone of voice and the way he was speaking to me was not going to happen. I was visibly shaken by the situation, and it was uncomfortable, to say the least. He was drawing a lot of attention. And you handled it for me, which was nice because I didn't know what to do. And so we finished the craft show after he left. And we wandered around a little bit, and she could tell that I was still very upset. And so we went and did some shopping, some therapy shopping. Then we went back to the house and sat and chatted for a little bit. But explained to me, you showed me and explained to me how I should be treated, and how what kind of person I should have been looking for. And in the long run, it made a huge difference on my decision on who I did end up with and marry. So I have to say that was probably a high point in my education from you. I want to tell you how much I'm going to miss you. Our talks on the phone and our conversations were a highlight in my life, and I'm going to miss that a lot, and I have missed that a lot. I still find myself picking up the phone to call you and chat, see what movie you're watching. I am heartbroken that you didn't get to meet your great-granddaughter that was born right before you passed. A few days before you got sick, I had emailed her pictures to the nursing home, and they printed them out, laminated them, and had them in your room. So you did get to see her, but you didn't really get to meet her, and I'm sorry for that. But she will always know you because my kids make fun of me. I still sing your songs to her, the songs that you taught me when my kids were growing up, and I sing those to her every day. And it lights her up like a light bulb. She loves them. So I say goodbye. I'll be thinking about you and I'll still be loving you. Thank you for everything.
Christmas would pass and summertime would come to Everlew Heights, and had a lot of memories with that too. And the big yard and laying out on the back porch and playing with all the neighbor kids. And that's when you began the tradition of the whistle. So if we ever strayed too far from home, the whistle would scream through the air and call us back to home base. And all the neighborhood kids knew that the Fitzes needed to get home if they heard the whistle. Anyway, I will always have little memories that'll always be with me about you, and like Aquanet, lots of it. I think Al Gore gave you a mention in his book. And if Dippity-Doo contributed to the global warming pandemic, you're to blame on that end as well. Lipstick on a piece of toilet paper floating in the toilet, so it was just like floating lips in the toilet. Washing your hair in the kitchen sink. Washing my hair in the kitchen sink. Braiding my hair. Oh my gosh. The pain that came with that. Your Japanese gardens. Poodling your trees. Tomato sandwiches. Warm toast with melted cheese for breakfast. Granny's attic. Thanksgiving dinners. And then after dinner, we'd all help you move into the craft booths at the Five Seasons craft fair. Station wagon. Dennis and I would sit backwards in the station wagon in the back seat. Jam-packed basement full of crafts with skinny little aisles. House coats. Sweatshirts with tennis shoes. Elmer's glue on the palm of your hand so we could see who could peel it off in one piece while you slept in your chair. Having a dishwasher, but still being forced to wash dishes by hand. You taking a college community course on how to use your new Amana microwave and not letting the boys ever stand in front or near it while it was running because it would give them penis cancer. Never mind the girls, just the boys. Don't worry about the girls getting any kind of cancer from the microwave. But anyway, I have so many flashes of silly memories that will always make me smile.
We thought the best tribute to Mom should be done in the desert because Mom loved Sun City West. She loved her years in Sun City West. We're not a fan of Sun City West, so we came to Palm Springs instead. And it does remind me of the time that Mom, Dad, and Phil and Anna Mae all came to visit me in Palm Springs one time when I was out here on business. And here I am out here on business again. So let's see, what can you say about Mom? You know, some of my earliest memories are in our house on Hiawatha, but probably the most poignant ones are our house on 18th Street. And we had a bathroom there with towels that nobody could use. I think we were saving them for in case the Pope visited. And we also had a living room out front that nobody was allowed in, except for me. Especially at Christmas, because kids won't understand this, but we had this record player with big vinyl records, and you could stack them 5 high, and they'd drop, and then they'd play, and then the next one would drop, and it would play. It was like an old-time version of a mixtape. And since I was the AV person in the house, I was allowed into the living room. So, especially at Christmas, we played a lot of Christmas records. Bing Crosby, Dean Martin,
So I was allowed to go in and stack the records anyway. But we always had these beautiful flocked white Christmas trees. Mom liked them flocked because she didn't want to put lights on them because she thought it was a fire hazard. And with Jeff and I around, that was probably the case. That was probably true. But anyway, so we'd have these flocked trees, and every year she'd have a different theme. One year to be red balls, the next year to be blue balls, or whatever. But it was always just beautiful balls on this white tree, and it was always very stunning. Everything that Mom did was stunning. She was a perfectionist. She used to give the boys, all of us boys, haircuts, and all it was a butch. I mean, all you do is you just shave off her hair. It took her a half hour, 45 minutes sometimes, just to cut her hair because she was a perfectionist. But it showed in everything that she did. She was a very, very creative lady, a gene that I did not inherit at all. But she was a very creative lady. Everybody remembers her flower arranging, her ceramics. She did calligraphy for a while. She made cards, greeting cards, and everything she did, you could see all of the attention to detail. She was a very special lady that way. Because of all of the crafts and arts and crafts and things that she did, she accumulated a lot of raw materials, let's say, and one of the girls' favorite things, my girls' favorite things, was when they went over to Grandma's and they got to go in Grandma's basement and shop, and they'd take home their own raw materials to do their own arts and crafts, or do them with Grandma at the table. But, and again, it was all that creativity and that attention to detail. And all of that attention to detail, she also tried to pass on to her grandkids. And along with the creativity stuff too. There's a lot of times that they sat around the kitchen table out on Everloo and worked, and it was so much fun to come and pick the kids up from a babysitting date or something and see what they created that day. Still to this day, I got Abby's little dragon, ceramic dragon, in my office on my desk. I'm glad that my kids had that time with her too, and I enjoyed the time that we had with them. The times in Vegas, where Mom would roam around with her cup of quarters until 4 in the morning, and our time in
fall asleep at the slot machine.
Jamaica. Our time in Jamaica when we went for Heather's wedding. We had so much fun when Mom was introduced to dirty bananas. I only had one. So it was, those were some wonderful memories. So I guess in conclusion, obviously she's going to be leave a big hole in all of our hearts, and we're going to miss her. And I love you, Mom.
Be Mother's Day.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We're shooting this on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Yeah.
What's the most important thing in your life right now? Bang.
Oh, Tom. Finally, Tom.
After all these years,
Yeah.
the guy that was smoking cigarettes out
Actually, that he is the only one that is the most important thing.
Okay. Advice. Joan, have you got advice for the rest of us who may read or hear this?
Would you wonder if anybody would want my advice, because they're always complaining that I'm giving them advice and they don't want it.
You give it freely, right?
So gosh, I hope everything that we've done over the years or tried to tell them would rub off on them some way, if not now, maybe later, and I think it has, but they'll be all right.
So keep the light on for us and wait up for us, and we're all listening for the whistle. So blow the whistle when it's time for us to come home. Love you, Mom. Bye.